Possibly my entire life, I have been fascinated with water and underwater and diving adventures. See, my dad had a scuba shop for years and years, and so my brother and I would spend basically all of our days living in the water. We were fish. We were fish. Today, we're going in the Atlantis submarine off the Aruban coast. Yeah, I had my doubts when I saw the brochure. I was like, okay, is this going to be just kind of some goofy, like, fake submarine experience where really it just leaves you cold and empty inside because they promised you the world, and then you leave with a leaky snorkel and a dead goldfish or something. But it wasn't like that at all. So the whole experience starts by taking a transfer boat from the Aruban coast out to the submarine itself. And so you're kind of cruising along in the Caribbean sun. You've got the turquoise waters going by. You see some islands off to your right, and then the open ocean, and just the open ocean. And then you keep watching, and it wasn't there, and now it is there. The submarine surfaces up, and your ship heads over to meet the sub, and you load up like you would kind of expect to load up on the sub. You go down the hatch and find your seat. Down the middle of the sub are two rows of seats. They face outward towards the windows, so seeing that, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a submarine that's made for tourists. And you know what? I don't care, because it is a submarine, and we are going to go down and we are going to look out those windows. I have to admit, I was also worried on the boat that when we got into the sub, it was going to be like super hot or cramped or damp or just uncomfortable to breathe. It was none of those things. It was actually perfectly comfortable. And finally, the descent begins. You see all this rush of bubbles fly up past the windows as a submarine lets go the ballast and like empties a bunch of air into the water, and there's just lots of bubbles, and then they clear off, and basically everything just turns blue. You've made it. You're finally underwater, and you can watch the depth gauge just kind of start ticking down as you go deeper and deeper. It's a cool transition into the undersea environment. It's literally a cool transition, because to be honest, also the sun in Aruba is absolutely brutal. On the ship, on the transfer boat, it was super hot, sweaty. The sun was beating down. Like, it was like kind of rough, to be honest. And then once you're in the sub, it's a whole different story. You're safe, you're comfy, you're cool. The air feels nice. It's just great. It's like suddenly you're just in a whole different world. So you start exploring the reef. They take you down. They take a couple of passes through everything that you see. So first they show one side of the submarine, the reef, then the other side, because obviously, you know, the reef's there and the sub's here, and there's no both sides to it. But one side gets a really good look at the reef, and then they flip around and then they show you again. And yeah, it was really cool. I saw lots and lots of fishes. We saw, God, what did we see? We saw manta rays. We saw those the parrotfish, the really colorful parrotfish that basically eat the reef and poop sand. If you think that the sand on the beaches in Aruba is from some natural like wind water combination, it's actually wrong. It's all of that white sand is actually parrotfish poop. They eat a ridiculous amount of something like 2 tons a year per fish of coral, and then just poop out beautiful white sand. Kind of an interesting side note. Anyway, what else? We saw angelfish. There were huge schools of minnows out there. Unfortunately, no sharks. I was really disappointed. I would have liked to see a shark or two, just a little shark, just a wee little. But no, that not happening. Apparently, they're not such a thing. The pilot actually said that they had seen 3 sharks in the entire history of the operation. So over many years, multiple tours a day, they saw 3 sharks. So Your chances are 0 to none of actually seeing a shark on this tour, but which is also nice because I mean, like, you know, no, I wanted to see a shark. I don't know what I'm talking about. Shipwrecks. So you actually get to go see 2 shipwrecks, which are really cool. They've been on the bottom of the ocean there for many years. Both of them were intentionally sunk, so it's not like as cool as like a pirate ships, you know, with gold or something, but they're still pretty cool, and it kind of gives you like food for thought because you can see these things where it's like you see ports and doors, and now they're covered in fish with the corals, and you know that once upon a time some sailor walked in and out of that, and those ships had jobs, and now they're just sunk on the ocean floor, and they're making homes for fishes, and the ocean is slowly eating them, eating them, and turning them into reefs, which is it's just kind of a cool process. But I mean, talk about bucket list items. Sunken ships, check. Check. 2 of them. 2 sunken ships. Again, thank you, Submarine Day. So for scuba divers like me, you might be wondering something. There was no equalization in my ears. There was no popping, no nothing. There was no stops for decompression. And some part of me was like, how does this work? Like how is it that we can go to 140 feet, which if you're a scuba diver, you know that 135 feet is where compressed oxygen starts to become poisonous. And you also know that if you ever go that deep and spend any amount of time, you have to go through decompressions to come up, or your blood will basically turn into a champagne bottle or a shaken Coke bottle with those little candies in it, whatever those things are called. Yeah, you don't have to decompress or anything like that. So I actually did a little bit of research, and what I found makes total sense. But but basically, you're in such a controlled environment. The sub takes all of the pressure, so therefore the air inside is not actually pressurized at all. You're still at 1 atmosphere pressure, which is why you don't have to worry about decompressing. It's why you don't have to worry about popping your ears, and it's why you don't have to worry whether you have scuba dived recently or plan to again, because the sub just literally takes all the pressure for you, and it doesn't have any effect. So that was my bit of trivia for the day. I was like, how is this happening? We're past 135 feet. We should have all kinds of things going on right now, but we don't. And yeah, that's the answer. It's just the sub. Sub does that. So in the end, do I recommend? And the answer is absolutely. I absolutely recommend this. It was actually a really cool experience. Like I said, I was afraid it was going to be really hokey, and it turned out to be amazing. And maybe the most amazing part about it was that we did this at the beginning of our Aruba adventure. And so because of that, we got an early look at all of the reefs and what the ocean was like and the shipwrecks and everything. And why that's cool at the beginning of your vacation is because then every night when we were, eating at a restaurant, overseeing the ocean, or just chilling at the beach, or just generally being on the island anywhere doing anything and just aware that we are in Aruba, you kind of, you know what's out there. You know what surrounds you, and that gives you context to enjoy all of the other experiences of the island. And that is why, autofocus, that's why I highly recommend the Atlantis submarine tour. This isn't paid or anything. Good God, I don't have any viewers. I do have viewers. I have you, and I appreciate you. But it's not like, no. Point being, like, go on a submarine, and if you're in Aruba, take this one. It's really good. They do a good job. Highly recommend. And that's it. Bye.
Hi. Hello, baby.
Oli.
So, what did you think of the submarine tour?
I loved it. It was super good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing on this trip so far?
Um, Probably the submarine.
Submarine?
Yes.
Give me a high five. All right. So what are we gonna do now?
Get something to eat?
Yes. What are you gonna eat?
I don't know yet.
No?
Maybe a burger.
Am I interrupting your getting to know part? No.
No.
Okay. Well, I loved it. I thought the submarine was amazing, and as a scuba kid all my life, it was super super special to me. So we went to 100 and what did we end up going to? 138 feet.
842.
142 and 42 feet. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We saw fish. We saw reefs. We saw sunken ships. And we didn't.
Cool.
We didn't even get wet.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready.
Um,